As a society, we've moved beyond the need to be convinced that climate change is real. People can see it with their own eyes. The village of Lytton, for example, set a new Canadian heat record last summer as temperature rose to 49.6 degrees Celsius, nearly 24 degrees higher than normal. The next day, a wildfire destroyed 90% of the town, killing 2 people and displacing more than 1,000. That wildfire was one of more than 1,500 in BC last year alone. It was the province's third worst wildfire season on record. And last November, British Columbia was hit again, this time by intense rainfall and floodings that cost at least 6 lives and led to almost 15,000 evacuations. The storm also brought $7.5 billion in damages to infrastructures. It will likely be the most costly storm in Canada's history. Let me make one more point about the indisputable reality of climate change. Every year at Environment and Climate Change Canada, we compile the top 10 weather stories that made news. My apologies. We've done so for 26 years. Well, there was never a time of weather extremes such as what we saw in 2021. The science has been clear on the cause. It's carbon pollution. As senators will know, greenhouse gas emissions are heating our climate at a rapid rate. Their effects on Canada's north is particularly harsh, where the heating is 3 times the global average. Business as usual is simply not an option. This reality has driven our government's action since 2016, when we developed and adopted the Pan-Canadian Framework on Clean Growth and Climate Change in partnership with provinces, territories, and Indigenous peoples. Canada's emissions were heading in the wrong direction then, and this comprehensive national plan began to correct our course. In 2019, the federal government put a price on carbon pollution so that it is no longer free to pollute anywhere in Canada. And in 2020, we again strengthened our government's climate change commitments with the Enhanced Climate Plan. Last year, we wrote Canada's 2030 emissions reduction target into law through the Canadian Net Zero Emissions Accountability Act, the legislation that frames our conversation today. Our government goal is to reduce our country's greenhouse gas emissions by 40 to 45% below 2005 levels, and to do so by 2030. And in the long term, Canada aims to achieve net zero by 2050, where we either produce no more greenhouse gas emissions or cancel those that will still be emitted through various measures. The emissions reduction plan, table on March 29th, is a sector-by-sector roadmap that will help Canada reach its goal. The plan builds on the hard work that our government and the people of this country have already done and set a course for the future. For example, it will make it easier for Canadians to switch to electric vehicles through additional funding of $400 million for charging stations and $1.7 billion to extend the incentives for net zero vehicles program. To reduce emissions from medium and heavy-duty vehicles, our government will aim to achieve 35% of total of these vehicles to be net zero emission vehicles by 2030. The plan also points the way to reducing energy costs from our home and building through the development of a $150 million Canada Green Building Strategy. Under the 2030 Emissions Reduction Plan, the Canada Greener Homes Loan Program will receive an additional investment of $458 million. Our government will explore more possibilities for a net zero future. Opportunities to build new housing at near or net zero energy standards, and legislative approaches to support a durable price on carbon pollution. In the emissions reduction plan, our government also committed to developing an emissions cap for the oil and gas sector with our partners, provincial and territorial governments, Indigenous people, and other stakeholders, and guided by a projected contribution for the sector. In total, the emissions reduction plan brings $9.1 billion of new investment. It's ambitious, it's bold, but it's credible. A net zero emissions future is our destination. Getting there will be the key economic driver of our generation. From a business perspective, the global climate challenge represents a massive opportunity. The time has come to build a cleaner, more durable, and more inclusive economy. The world will invest trillions of dollars in the clean economy over the coming decade alone. Some of the world's largest investment firms, such as BlackRock, HSBC, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Desjardins, are already moving their investment to businesses and jurisdictions that take combating climate change seriously. There is fierce competition for these investments. Canadian businesses can quickly move to the front of the line by taking strong climate action now. It is imperative that our country acts now to ensure a new prosperous future for Canadian businesses, workers, and communities. We're well positioned. Our industries and energy sectors are dynamic and innovative. We have an abundance of renewable energy potential, mineral and metal wealth, geological carbon storage potential, and biomass resources. In a global low carbon economy, these resources will be in high demand. And our ability to respond to rapid change by upgrading and retraining workers, increasing workforce participation by underrepresented groups, and attracting international talent will continue to be a competitive advantage for Canada. Our government is committed to making the transition affordable in every community in every region of Canada as we move towards reducing our reliance on fossil fuels. It will expand the supply of clean electricity through investments in renewable and next generation clean energy and technology, ensuring access to clean, affordable, and reliable energy. Many rural and remote communities rely on heating oil. Our government is investing $300 million over 5 years to ensure that rural, remote, and Indigenous communities that currently rely on diesel have the opportunity to be powered by clean, reliable sources of energy by 2030. Going forward, our government will continue to engage with stakeholders to ensure this transition is affordable and equitable from coast to coast to coast across the country. Clean energy and low carbon opportunities will stretch across the country. Many are located in central Canada and regions that will be most impacted by the oil and gas transition. Alberta has some of the best solar and wind potential and significant geological storage for carbon capture. It is attracting large and growing investment in renewable energy, clean hydrogen, and geothermal energy. Saskatchewan has amazing potential when it comes to new agricultural technologies. Newfoundland and Labrador has significant offshore wind potential, hydroelectric production, minerals and metal, and is adding new biofuels refining. Our government will continue to support the country's workforce as it prepares for a net zero emissions economy. It will identify skills that are in demand now and in the future, and it will introduce new approaches to skills development and provide new opportunities for Canadian workers. By 2025, the clean tech sector's contribution to Canada's GDP is expected to grow to nearly $80 billion. And this year alone, global clean tech technology activity is expected to exceed $2.5 trillion. Whether we're talking about the middle-class jobs or good investment or quality of life, there is a recognition that a clean future is the only future, and that a clean economy presents great opportunities for those who are ready to take the reins. Senators, thank you for your time. I look forward to your questions. Sénateur, merci pour le temps que vous m'accordez aujourd'hui et j'attends vos questions avec impatience.
Thank you very much, Mr. Guilbeault, for that clear and concise intervention. Very much appreciated. I have on my list, and knowing that some people have to go to committee, Lankin, Gerba, McFedrin, Galvis, and Lafreda. And I'll start with